Hi there, fellow coders. Are you tired of shifting through countless validation attributes in ASP.NET MVC 5, hoping to find the perfect one for your needs? Well, have no fear, because I've got some exciting news for you. Did you know that not only does MVC 5 offer a variety of built-in validation attributes, including a versatile regular expression one, but you can also create your own custom rule. That's right. You don't have to settle for limitations of pre-existing options. With a little bit of coding creativity, you can design a perfect validation rule to fit your unique requirements. So, don't be afraid to think outside of the box and push the boundaries of validation in MVC 5. Let your imagination run wild and create the ultimate validation rule that will take your coding skills to the next level. First, notice on line 9 that this class inherits from the validation attribute class defined in the system.componentModel.dataAnnotations. This is the main thing that you have to do to create a custom validation attribute. Also notice that my class name common password attribute ends with the word attribute. This is a conversion for all attribute classes in .NET code. When we reference this class as an attribute in our code, we can either include or omit the word attribute. Both will work. Next, notice on line 12 that I have created a string array of the 10 most commonly used passwords at the time of this recording. As a side note, please do not use any of these passwords in real life. They are literally the first 10 passwords that any hacking attempt will try. Next, notice on line 11 that I have defined a field to hold an error message if we want to overwrite the default one. This is being set on line 27 in the constructor, which is where we will pass the error message into the attribute when we are setting it up. To make this work, let's override the isValid method from the base class. I'll go ahead and get rid of the implementation from the base class. And the first thing we need to do is to make sure that the value isn't null. If it's null, let's just go ahead and return false, saying this is not valid. And then next we'll check to see if the bad passwords array contains a value. So if the bad passwords contains the value when converted to a string, and then we'll reverse that with a not and return that result. In other words, if we find the value in the bad passwords array, the value is not valid. And that's all we have to do to get that to work. But I would also like to add a default error message and the ability to override it. So let's also override the format error message. And we will return either error message if it's not null, or if it is null, we return name toCommon, where name is the name of the property. Now, let's actually use this custom validation attribute in the login form. Eventually, if we added a change password page, we could use the same attribute in the model for the page as well. In front of the password property here, I'm going to add a common passwords attribute, and I will import that namespace. I will also specify custom error message of this password is too common. This will validate our property using the new attribute. Plus, it will use this custom error message instead of the default one that we built into the attribute. Alright, time to test it. Go to the login form, and I will enter a valid email, and I will enter one of the passwords from our list, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Notice that we will see our custom validation message in the line in the form and in the validation summary at the top. Now we know how to validate HTML5 forms with the built-in validation attributes, which cover most situations, and how to make use of our own custom attributes when we need to do that instead.